Good morning, Chicago Cubs fans. We are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan, presented by Fan Arch. The Cubs finally put Kyle Tucker on the IL. We'll talk about that. The Cubs get a victory due to Cade Horton's brilliance on the mound. We're going to discuss that game. A potential trade rumor the Cubs could be entertaining this offseason about a potential all-star catcher. We'll talk about that, and then we'll review the series finale in Atlanta facing former foe Chris Sale. But before we get into all that, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic Wednesday. It's going to be a great week. Cubs wrap up with Atlanta, then we go to Tampa Bay. But let's finish this week strong, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to show the support you have shown on a daily basis here on the channel. So, Kyle Tucker finally being placed on the IL, retroactive to September 6th. So, as you see the video tomorrow, it's going to be the 10th. We got 6 more days without Kyle Tucker. Hopefully, this offense can stay afloat. It did the job tonight, but it's going to be difficult to stay afloat as, again, whether you like to admit it or not, Kyle Tucker's presence in this lineup is tremendous and has a big-time value to add to this team. Now, we'll discuss more about his tenure with the Cubs in the offseason, but in the interim, we know that we need him in this lineup if we want to have any chance at a successful postseason run. Yes, I know we're down in the dumps. The spirits are down as a fan base, but if you want to have hope, you know you need him to be successful. You know that's true. So, him going on the IL, I'm hoping is more of a blessing, even if it means the team does hit a snag here for the next few days. And again, you might be like, Steven, they're already in a snag. Fine. If you think the team's in a snag, I'm not going to argue with you. But Kyle Tucker needs this break, okay? He needs to take these days off from baseball. Yes, it does heal the calf strain, but it also helps with the fingers and just his total body alignment, getting it ready for a potential postseason push and deep playoff run. Because we need him to be healthy, and he was figuring it out at the towards before the calf got strained. He was starting to hit the ball hard, and this offense was starting to develop a little more consistency in producing runs for this team. So he's going back on the IL, or not going back. He's finally going on the IL. Hopefully, we'll get him back fully healthy and ready to go. Now, in the meantime, it's going to be a team collaborative effort to get these wins, and it was an excellent way to get one tonight. The Cubs win 6-1 thanks to Cade Horton and his absolute brilliance on the mound, right? 6 1/3, only 2 strikeouts, but he held control. He felt like he was in control the whole game. The Braves only really threatened one time. So, again, he kept it at bay. He did his job. He gave the bullpen a little more relief, Not that the bullpen has totally need to be taxed or anything like that, but again, the deeper the starter can go, the better it is on the bullpen, right? So again, hopefully Cade Horton continues to stretch these stretches, starts out, and he can give us 7 innings in October. As it sits right now, call me insane, I'm starting Cade Horton game 1 at Wrigley in the playoffs, the wild card round. I love the kid's confidence. I love his moxie. I love his stuff. I think he has that it factor. And even though Shota Imanaga has been fantastic for this ball club, I really like Shota off a loss potentially if we lose game 1. The Cubs' record following a loss and Shota on the mound is really, really good. So there's the kind of a strategy to that as well. So excited to watch Cade Horton continue to get some more of these reps. They flashed a graphic up there tonight that he has 8 starts of going at least 5 innings and no earned runs. Just an unreal run in his first 20 starts in the big league. So again, very, very exciting to watch with Cade Horton, and I'm excited to watch his next start personally. It's the steps for these young guys, right? Like Matt Shaw had a big RBI, 2 RBI single that drove in 3 runs and kind of just exploded the game wide open, right? Because it was 2-1 entering the 8th, and it was just a really good effort from the young guys to get the Cubs this victory, which they desperately, desperately needed. Now, let's talk about a little trade rumor before we get into that series finale with the Braves and Chris Sale. But, ladies and gentlemen, I like to say where there's smoke, there's fire, right? I heard some smoke that, Adley Rutschman was going to be made available this offseason, and it floored my general baseball fandom mind. Adley Rutschman, the #1 overall pick in 2019, Oregon State national champion, one of the best catchers in the game, switch hitter, the whole 9 yards. Yes, is he having a down year? Absolutely, but we all know what Adley Rutschman can do. He's a really, really good baseball player, and the Orioles might shop him this offseason, and it's got me genuinely curious. Could the Cubs do something to make a deal for him? Would you, Cubs Nation, want him on your team? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I would. I do think the Cubs do have a mystery at catching right now. Miguel Amaya, it's difficult for him to stay healthy, unfortunately, at least this season. Maybe next year he can have a nice bout of health, but again, what you've seen this year, it's just poor unluckiness for the kid, and it's really, really hindered his development, unfortunately. I'm not sure how much more it's going to affect him going into next season. Carson Kelly, he's on a 1-year deal. I don't anticipate he'll be coming back to the Cubs in the offseason, mostly due to the fact because someone's going to overpay for him because of the year he had. He's had an absolutely fantastic year. I just can't expect that again from him. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's a seasoned vet, but I'm going to bet that he doesn't produce the same numbers that he did this year, plain and simple. So does that leave a question at catching? And you know what? I do say yes, it does, because no one brings the pedigree, no one that I think is available that brings the pedigree quite like Adley Rutschman to the table. I think he brings a nice blend of defense and offense, which this Cubs team desperately needs. I think he adds a little more star power to the team as well. And honestly, especially if we're not going to sign Kyle Tucker, there's no reason that we shouldn't not make this move. Now, I'm greedy. I generally think we should extend Kyle Tucker and trade for Adley Rutschman to kind of form that dynamic duo. But again, let's not get greedy, right? We've seen how this team operates in the interim and the general, so I'm not gonna waste your time with the semantics on that one. In terms of prospect, real estate, I'm not sure what it's going to cost. I'm not sure who the Orioles are interested in. I desperately know they need pitching. They desperately need to get some arms. But what arms do they want? Jordan Wicks? Do they want Ben Brown? Obviously I think it's going to take a prospect bat as well, like a Kevin Alcantara, to kind of make the deal sweet for the Orioles. But I'm curious to see where this rumor goes and where it takes this Cubs team. So, Adley Rutschman, a name that we'll be talking about probably this winter more and more as time goes on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this one's going to be quick. We got a series finale here in the ATL. The Cubs haven't not announced their pitcher yet. Maybe they don't want to go Assad. Maybe they want to go Wicks. I'm not sure who they're thinking about going. I think it's that fifth man in the rotation spot. Maybe they go an extended bullpen game. Not sure how they're going to approach it. All I know is we're facing former White Sox Chris Sale, and it's not guaranteed we're going to get this win, man. The Braves might have been struggling all season long, but they're still a good team, like I said before in the video, with a good pedigree and a good chance to win this ball game, especially if we're not even sure who we're starting in the game yet. So once those roll out, we will know a lot more personally as fans, but at the time of this recording, unfortunately, we do not know who the Cubs are going to be starting. Again, I'm guessing Javier Assad. That's my guess. Maybe Jordan Wicks. I'm not sure who they're calling up, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe Aaron Savall. Maybe Aaron Savall's going to get the start, right? That might be a good idea for this team as well. He's been very solid for the club. So curious to see who we throw out there, but it's a great day to go win a series. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, continue to like, share, let all your fellow Cubs fans know about Cubs Daily, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one. See ya.